Financial Survival Network, helping you survive and thrive in the new economy. Go to CarrieLutz.com and sign up for 30 free micro trainings on financial survival.
1490 WGCH, this is Carrie Lutz, and you're listening to the Financial Survival Network. Is it time to delete Facebook? Are the raids on gold and silver really different this time? Are they masking some cataclysmic event that the Fed and the government know are coming, but they don't want you to know? Well, with us now is Chris Duane of don't-tread-on.me, also known as the Silvershield and the Sons of Liberty Academy. Hey, Chris, welcome back. Always a pleasure.
Good to be back. And we're starting to make this more frequent. And, I'm starting to enjoy the banter that we get going.
Hey, me too, man, because nobody's talking about this stuff. Your latest video here, Delete Facebook.
Yeah.
Pretty much what, if I could boil it down, correct me if I'm not accurate, is that Facebook is the latest edge of consumerism. It is emblematic or symptomatic of a vacuous society, a civilization that's lacking a core, that nothing means anything other than what people think is going on in your life rather than what really is. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is, the elite have been pumping consumerism onto us, since World War II, and it served them very well. I mean, the baby boomers have certainly grasped onto it. It's led to a great amount of, wealth being created, a great amount of debt being created, but we're coming to its mathematical end, and the elite know that if they want to secure their power, they have to, give the masses another opium. So, one of the little pieces of art I found to make the videos says that Facebook is opium for the masses, and it reminds me of Karl Marx's quote. But I think the real underlying thing with Facebook is that it's an artificial substitution for the real thing, much like our fiat money is artificial substitution for the real money. We can, make, images in our mind and relationships and give things power and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, the real thing will never, the real thing will never make up, or the fake thing will never make up for the real thing. So just like how we've talked for hours about how, we have fiat, digital, paper, electronic money that's ghost of a money, and that silver and gold are real honest money. Well, your Facebook relationships are axiomatic of that. Here you have these, hundreds of friends and these artificial little connections and these little comments and likes and dislikes and just artificial, niceties. And people think that that's a real life and that's real friendship and that's real, real things. And for many people, it is. It's sad. But when you get down to it, you're very lucky to have one or two or three really good friends. And these are people that have, been there with you through the hard and tough times, and they really opened up with them. And I think it's sad, but it's part of where we are as a society that we have embraced Facebook as much as it has, knowing that it is, really a poor excuse for the real thing. And I even threw in a little thing saying it's sort of like porn. It's porn has grown to this big thing because people are, trying to fill an emotional hole there, and nothing's going to beat the real thing. So here we have our fake relationships with our fake sex and our fake money. And the whole point of this is that it is all going to end when this reality sets in. And I believe it's going to happen with the collapse of the dollar. All artificiality will be, people will shake it off like a bad habit. And, I think Facebook will look back at this 10 years from now and going, wow, that was kind of a big waste of time.
It's definitely a waste of time. It's addictive. You could spend a lot of time on there. And now it's not how many friends you have, it's how many likes you have, how many Twitter followers are going after you, how big your LinkedIn network is. And like you say, that it's all artificial. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make you any happier. And maybe it's helpful for business. Maybe that is a plus. But like you said, the fakeness, the artificiality of our existence is going to fall by the wayside. And if you listen to Gerald Celente, he's also talking about the artificiality of our food also going by the wayside, that we're going to have this return to quality of like craftsmanship. And for societies, export-driven societies that were created to satisfy our thirst for this garbage, they're going to be hit even harder because they're holding all these dollars that'll become worthless. And they've got whole economies built on just satisfying our fakeness. And they're not a consumerist society like China. They're not going to become a consumerist society, even though the government's trying to get the people to consume, because once they see all these things blow up, they're going to recoil in horror and they're not going to be working anymore. So it's instability all over the world for this transition to take place. And, you know, to see these websites just implode, I don't think anyone is prepared for that.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned how, the social media is good for business. Many of you guys know that I came from a info marketing background after I left the car business. And I worked with a program to help people invest in retail or in foreclosed properties. And, I was very proud of what we did there because it was a very real program. It was investors helping investors on how to clear the housing market when the banks and the governments were completely inept. We provide the free market, opportunity for people to go in there and clean it up. But once I realized, once I got more into the business, and I got a kind of feel for what we, did, the majority of the time was really spent on, lead generation and, and conversion and traffic and all this other stuff, which led to this marketing underground. And there's a lot of really bright, smart guys out there. And I posted a video of this one guy, Kern, who's one of these mega gurus in the internet marketing business. And he basically talks about how in order to successfully market to people on the internet, you almost have to make them feel like they're stupid, and that they're so stupid that if they can even do a little bit of what these smart gurus can do, then they can be, successful. And he talks about how low self-esteem leads to profits. He puts his hands up there, and you have to watch the video because, I went looking for another video on internet marketing. And I came across this one, and this one just ripped it apart. But anyways, he's there, and he goes, and then once they have low self-esteem, then you can prey on them like little evil, and then he cuts himself off. But it shows the predator mentality of the marketer, and I threw in there to balance that. Bill Hicks, saying, in one of his last stand-ups, if you're a marketer and you're in marketing, kill yourself because you ruin everything that's good, and that's the manipulation that goes involved in the the mass marketing. Even this Joseph Kony thing. To me, it's so evil to manipulate people to take upon their good intentions of helping others, but then having the subsection of, it's another war for oil. It's purposely done to manipulate people. And I'm telling you folks, when the dollar collapses, all these other artificialities will fall by the wayside. And anybody who participated in them, whether it's the Wall Street bankers, the people on Madison Avenue, the governments, the lawyers, all the people that are making millions of dollars pumping this illusion, are going to be running for their lives.
I don't doubt it. And you talk about these people, they all think they're doing it for a higher purpose. I don't know if you caught my little rant on the homeless shelters in New York, no longer accepting private food donations because it might have too much salt, it could have too much trans fats, and it might not be healthy for someone who's starving or who would starve to get. And this is just the nanny state. All these people think they know better. They're doing all this stuff that's going to hurt you for for your own good because they know better. They know what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, that's the fundamental flaw of all centralized power structures. And you and I are both not Democrat or Republican. We see through the artificial false left-right paradigm. But I don't care what centralized organization you're working with, whether it's a military, political, economic, corporation, town hall, even your local Tea Party or Occupy Wall Street. There's always going to be some sort of megalomaniac, power-hungry person that's going to rise to the top. And any centralized organization is based on the fundamental lie that a few people know better than everybody. Yep. And that's the beauty of a really true free market capitalism, not the state capitalism or fascism that we have right now. It's a truly free market capitalistic society will allow the millions and billions and trillions of interactions between people based on honest money, honest weights and measures, which would be honest money, and their ability to choose what's best for them, both for the seller and the buyer. And anytime you have a centralized structure, I don't care what it is, it innately stops some sort of human progression. And in this case, homeless shelters, the government has never done anything that the private sector hasn't done before. Okay. Yep. So if you think about it, our military was based off of our own private militias. Our school system was based off of our own private school, system. Our welfare agencies were based off of the free market charitable organizations. There is nothing the government has done or created ever that has been more successful than the original intent of whatever that organization was. And this is just a perfect example. I tell you what, folks. If you're in New York City, and I was a former New Yorker, you're in Greenwich there. I used to live and work in Summit, New Jersey. If you are in Manhattan when this dollar collapses, you might as well be saying Heil Bloomberg, because this guy is going to lord over every single action of your life, even more so than what he's got right now. He's already extended his term beyond what it was originally. Wasn't he not allowed to do a third term?
Yeah, there was a term limit that was put in at the time of Giuliani, which stopped him from going over 2 terms. And they amended I think they had a referendum or the council just amended the city's charter to allow him to serve a 3rd term. And honestly, I don't think he's going to run for a 4th because I think he's despised now. Yeah. I mean, my feelings about the guy have come. I was never really enthusiastic about him. Yeah. But, now he's just, you can't smoke. You can't eat a damn greasy hot dog. Yeah. And, I don't know if I ever told you, but I once went to one of his employee picnics because he had a house, probably still has it, his summer country house right by my town. And, there were 3,000 employees there all eating cotton candy, hot dogs, hamburger. But, man, let that guy become mayor, and all of a sudden, none of that. We can't have that. That's bad.
Well, and that's the other thing. I'll agree with him on cigarettes. I don't smoke. I quit smoking. I'll agree with him on, fatty or whatever foods or sodas or whatever. But who is it that, the idea that, if we truly are a society by and for the people, if I cannot tell you or force you or make you do something in an interpersonal relationship, if I cannot kill you, if I cannot force something upon you, if I have no right to do that, how is it possible a group of people all of a sudden have that authority over the individual?